Huzzah! Welcome. This is Indie Plus Plays Cartel. We're doing a 2-hour playtest slash demo of a new game I'm working on called Cartel. I'm Mark Diaz-Truman, and I have a couple of special guests and Indie Plus staff members here today to run through a roughly 2-hour session of Cartel, where we're going to try out this new system, see how it works, and hopefully have some fun, cool stories. First, Cartel is a sort of a mashup of Breaking Bad and El Mariachi, meaning that it's about members of the Sinaloa drug cartel, circa like 2007, 2008, who are trying to make it as best they can within the plaza area of Durango, Mexico. Now, this event conforms to Indie Plus community standards. You can find out more about that if you go to our website at indieplus.org. Obviously, given the nature of the game, has a lot of warnings. So, for example, you should probably know there's probably going to be some violence, drugs, and alcohol references. Probably some language. It's not a game that involves a lot of sexual violence, so I don't think that's probably likely, but it's very likely somebody will get shot today. Maybe one of these nice people might get shot. So that guy, the guy pointing at himself, exactly. The game is sort of supposed to be a little like Fiasco-esque, so things might go horribly wrong for our cast members, but they have a lot of tools to try to stay on their feet. So let's go ahead and introduce them out of character. So starting with on my left, Brian, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah. I am Santiago Guerrero. I have been in this area for about 5 years. During the failed coup down in Venezuela, we were forced to evacuate our country, and we came up to Mexico and met up with the Sinaloa cartels, and me and my men have been sort of given the job of taking care of this plaza and making sure that the routes for drug trafficking in this area are kept up to standard. We've been given a certain amount of autonomy to do that, and we have a pretty good relationship with the Sinaloa cartels. I'm a man with angry eyes and professional clothes. I still have a lot of my gear I wear a lot of my military fatigues and stuff, and I still go by my rank, and so a lot of my men just call me Capitan. I have let's see here. Do you want me to describe the plaza?
Yeah, let's pause for a second. So most people don't know this, but back when Mexico was ruled by one political party, the government decided to break up all the country into what they call plazas, which are basically regions for drug smuggling. And they told the cartels, you guys totally can smuggle drugs to the United States, we don't care, but you're going to need to pay us. And the drug cartels were like, all right, that's fine. And when PRI, this party, went away, the drug cartels said, we love this system. We just don't like the part where we have to pay the government. So they decided to keep the system and just not pay anybody anymore, right? So this plaza that you have it's replicated kind of across the country. Anywhere that there's an area that's important to smuggling, there's going to be a plaza, and with the plaza comes sort of a boss, somebody who's in charge of that particular plaza. And because the cartels are totally paranoid, you don't know a lot of cartel folks. You know one or two people that you have contacts with in the cartel, and everybody else works for you. That way, if you get busted, they don't get busted. So tell us a little bit about your plaza.
So we have our plaza is profitable and attractive, and we also, my enforcers have access to military-grade equipment, which they brought with them and have taken a lot of effort to procure similar equipment in the future. My enforcers have received military training because they all came up with me from Venezuela. And we have informants at all major choke points and smuggling roads throughout my plaza. So we're very locked down on that. However, we are in the middle of a violent turf dispute with another cartel, and my staff has been infiltrated by an undercover agent working for La Policía, or El Federales.
Yeah, not sure. All right, cool. So I think we talked a little bit in advance about these characters, so we got them kind of rolling. And one thing we talked about was that the drug cartel that you're at war with is Los Zetas. Now, Los Zetas is the actual bad guy cartel. They were originally Mexican special forces who were recruited away from the Mexican military to work for the Gulf cartel. And after a couple of years of that, they said, "Why are we working for these guys?" They killed them all and went ahead and made their own cartel. And they are scary. They're so scary that in many parts of Mexico, you do not say the words Los Zetas. You say the last letter or those who should not be named. Like, no shit, they say those who should not be named. Okay, so they're really scary. And the Sinaloa cartel is really old school. You guys have been, like, this is old, like, one of the first cartels in Mexico. You were the classic Coke to the, like, Mountain Blast Mountain Dew of Los Zetas, right? They're classless and scary, and you guys are, like, you know, old school and refined. So that's a real problem that they're encroaching on your territory. Awesome. So let's go over. Jen, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about your character?
Sure. I'm playing Isabel, who is the El Cocinero. Pronouncing it incorrectly, but I am what I am. I'm as Scandinavian as it comes. Like, okay, so Isabel is a woman with cunning eyes and work clothes. I also make heroin. That's just a thing I do. I actually got into it because the guy I was dating was trying to get in good with the cartel, except he was horrible at it, so I took over, and then I ditched him because awesome. I didn't need him anymore, right? I had enough money, so...
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Are you just sort of naturally good at being a cook? Like
Yes.
You've never had any professional training? You just...
No.
The cartel showed him what to do, and he was a fuck-up, and so you just fixed it for him.
Exactly.
And eventually dumped it. Awesome. Love it. That's great. Cool. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your lab.
So the lab, we make heroin. It is small, but I have it secured and hidden by fake doors and professional vents. So it's not detectable. The problem is that makes it difficult to reach and/or sometimes inaccessible. I don't know the area. I don't know what typical buildings are, you know, around or whatever. But I kind of feel like that the inaccessibility is the price I pay for being less detectable.
Yeah. Right. So is it like in a business or like where would you have this place?
Yeah, probably in a business.
Like in the industrial part of town?
Yes,
cool,
totally.
Cool. So they make something in this area, and you
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And so if there's a lot of shipments or something, like it could be like one thing might be like you're like a concrete factory, like where they make concrete.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's like lots of trucks and stuff coming in. Nobody notices you really, but there's times where you can't get to it because there's too much activity.
Right.
Awesome.
Yep. My lab is funded directly by the cartels, so I get some debt. Nothing can go wrong there. But I do have equipment designed to dispose of dangerous chemicals, which fits.
Yeah.
So it's no longer unstable.
Awesome, cool. And what keeps you doing this? Like, you got into it originally for this, stupid boyfriend who couldn't do his job, but what keeps you engaged with making drugs for the cartel?
Well, I mean, like, I'm good at it, and I take pride in my job.
Okay.
And I've made friends, right? I got people I got to support, and
Okay, cool.
I mean, what else am I going to do with my time?
Do you have a family? Sorry, do you have a family at all?
Yes, I totally have a family, and an over because that's cliche, but probably apt.
Sorry, you broke up a second there. What did you say?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I totally have a family.
Okay.
And an overbearing mother because that's cliche, but also probably apt.
Yeah. And do they know anything about your activities?
Oh God, no.
So they think you just work at the plant?
I mean, like, my brother maybe has an idea of it, but...
Okay. Cool. Great. So let's move on. Looks like we're losing Jen a bit, but we'll move on. That's a good time. Rich, let's hear about your character.
I'm Rich. My character is Diego. He's a El Hakon. He's kind of the lowest rung of the ladder of made men. He graduated from college with an art degree and could get no work. So he just kind of fell into this. His cousin is involved. He's on his little, wouldn't call it exactly a crew, but he kind of runs drugs, does minor jobs, kind of whatever you need done. He's the guy to go to. He also has another person in his crew, Azul. She used to date. him, but that didn't work out. But they're still friends. And then there's Moko, who is my girl's brother, and so the three of us are all pretty tight, which is great, except that Flaco's kind of an idiot, and he causes a lot of trouble. So now, my group is, well, we got an obligation. We owe some money to the cartel because I took a big loan to back him. He had a sure line on a boxing match. It did not go well. And then Azul is kind of the mistress for a guy who's kind of high up in the cartel, and we heard about the Aztecs had some stash that we could get. So we made a move on that, and it didn't exactly work out because we still owe the cartel, but now they hate us, so we have a turf war going on. But hey, my people are loyal, which is great. We can all die together.
Right.
And, Azul's got that connection, so we're pretty well connected. I'm not too worried.
Yeah, so Los Aztecas is they're a biker gang, right? And they're kind of all over the area, but this local chapter you've managed to get in kind of a scrap with. Partially because it sounds like Guillermo, who's this guy that works for El Narco, and Azul, you kind of pushed Azul, like, these guys are pushovers. You just take it, it's going to work out. It's all approved. These Los Aztecas, like, they're up to something. Like, you think they're trying to make a move of their own. What is it that Azul thinks they're going to do?
So this is a point when the cartel's out of the government. They're kind of running the plazas on their own, right?
Yep, totally. In fact, it's been probably, a number of years since democracy came to Mexico, which meant that the connection between the cartels and the government was severed.
What if maybe one of their chapters, some people actually ended up getting arrested, so they're thinking about a prison break possibly?
Yes, awesome. Yes, that's fucking awesome. Prison breaks, like it sounds crazy, but now the most famous gangster, El Chapo, who's the big legendary figure, broke out of jail 3 times. It's a common thing, right? So they're planning on rescuing some people who had gotten arrested, and they're thinking about making a jailbreak. That's perfect. I love that. Cool. Okay, good. So we've already got these characters made, so we just kind of were relaying to you, our wonderful audience, what's up with these characters. But now we're actually going to connect them together with this thing we call Los Enlaces, which is basically just relationships, but very close relationships, ties that are going to be sticky for these folks. So let's start with you, Santiago. Why don't you read one of your first enlaces and then just tell us who it applies to.
Let's see. It says that someone is familia, someone close, like a cousin or an uncle, maybe even a brother or a child. Like it's a family business, I can trust them. I think it's going to be Isabella. I actually, one of the reasons I started coming up this direction is because I have family up in this area, and so here I am.
So is she like a niece? Would that make sense?
Yeah, like a niece. I mean, we didn't know each other. We weren't really really close before I came back here. But I mean, we're familia, right? So it's all good.
Cool. Do you know that she makes drugs?
I'm sure that I found out. I'm sure I found out later.
Yeah.
And was pleasantly surprised.
All right, good, cool, that's awesome, great. Okay, what about you, Isabella?
So I know someone through some mundane area, work, school, or church. I don't know about their criminal activities, but I know they are keeping secrets. Tell them what I suspect, which is totally going to be Diego because, yeah, that's fun.
Cool. So where do you know him from?
So I think if it's cool with you, Rich, I think I know you through church.
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yes, I'm there all the time.
Right.
So my best customers are there.
That's awesome. Yeah, great.
So I have to tell them what you suspect. I don't know. What do I suspect of you?
Well, he's got a gang, right? I mean, gang.
Okay,
This is
yeah.
not like it's not like an apocalypse world gang who runs around with like
Right.
spikes and guns. There's like 3 guys that he hangs out with all the time. 2 guys and a girl that he hangs out with all the time that are also kind of sketchy.
Oh, they're up to no good. I'll figure it out eventually.
Cool. So just general shenanigans, like hooligan kind of behavior.
Well, obviously some form of illegal activity
Yeah.
that may get him in trouble, and I mean, I like him. He's my friend. I don't want him to get in trouble. So.
Says the person cooking heroin for the cartel.
Well, it's my job.
That's a job, right? He's a danger. Yeah. Awesome. Diego, what do you think of Isabel?
Church girl. Maybe at some point I'll talk to her, like about a thing. But we know each other. We're friendly.
Yeah. She seems nice.
She's nice.
Yeah. Good. Okay, why don't you tell us about one of your enlaces?
Okay. Let's see. I have got someone hired me to keep an eye out. They don't trust the cartel or the police. No threats so far, but chingados are patient. So I think Santiago might work there.
Cool. Good. So Santiago, why did you hire this kid to keep an eye out?
I think we actually go back quite a ways when I originally came up here and was trying to get the lay of the land, because this is not my home territory. We came from Venezuela, so when we came up here, he was he knows this town, so he helped me give me the lay of the land, and so I've kind of trusted him from that.
He's not working for anybody but you.
I knew that when I came here, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Good. Awesome. And Narco, tell us about another relationship.
Well, because right now I'm pretty sure that that Diego is up to something. I'm pretty sure that he's started to behave not the same way he used to, and he hasn't been quite as useful to me as he used to be. So I'm pretty sure that he's up to something. Maybe with another cartel or La Policia. I have to keep my eyes open, cabron. Trust no one.
Awesome. So maybe you even hired him as this ploy to see if he's still really with you.
No, I originally hired him because I did trust him.
Oh, because you did. Okay.
Over time, recently, I feel like things have changed, and I'm pretty sure it's because he's talking to someone he should.
He's up to something. Yeah, he's up to something. Good. Cool.
Listen, I know you don't believe me, but it was Flacco.
Throw Flacco under the bus. Isabel.
Okay, so I sort of bagged myself into a corner with this because neither of them really supervise. One of them is so-and-so's family. They don't know what you do.
It's okay. So you can do NPCs too, right? That's no
Okay.
problem. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So do you want to do your brother?
Yes, totally. Whose
Cool.
name is Miguel.
Great. Let's go ahead and read that one.
Miguel is family, close family. They don't know what you do para cartel, and you're not sure you can keep your secrets long.
Okay, good. So why is it the case that you think Miguel is why is it that you can't keep this secret for very long?
We were always really close, and we haven't been as close for the past maybe couple of years. And he started feeling like he needs to be protective of me for some reason, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Maybe he just got divorced.
Yes.
He just got divorced, and maybe he's staying at your place.
Yes.
And he just is Amano, we just haven't been close like we used to be. I just want to spend time with you and get to know you again. And you don't want to send him to live with your parents because that would be awful, right?
Right.
Okay, good, cool. That's great. Groovy. So we have more relationships than we have PCs, so it's totally cool to do some NPCs as well and get them into the mix. Great, Diego.
Let's see. Next one is someone disapproves of your cartel work and even wants to get you out. You're not a child. You can handle your own business. I think that's Cecilia. That's my girlfriend, whose brother is like on my little crew. So she's always messing with us. She doesn't understand the nice rings that she has and the car. That's where it came from.
Yeah, exactly. Does she have like a real job or something, or is she like a respectable member of society at some level, or is she like you guys, where she's kind of underemployed and like not very?
I think she's got like underemployed, maybe 3 jobs kind of thing.
So you could see like her way of doing things is kind of a sucker's bet, right? It's like you can work these 3 shitty jobs and make no money, or you can do what we do and make some money.
Yep.
Awesome, cool.
I've done the math.
I've done the math. Very precise math. Awesome, good. El Narco, Santiago, tell me, last one.
So when I originally came here, like we were only a very small group of fighters that came from Venezuela. So I have had to recruit from the local populace to do that.
Yeah.
And one of Diego's like former like people that he hung with, like I've kind of like taken away from Diego's little group.
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of like, because we're training him, and he's like part of our little paramilitary group.
That's great.
I mean, so his name.
How about Lola? Let's make it a woman. How about Lola?
Okay.
Let's have
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
Cool. Good. So Lola used to hang with you all. She's probably like Azul's sister, and like she just kind of got scooped up, right? Like you know, come for a ride with me. I want to take you, show you something, and like she's just kind of gotten more and more distant. So Diego, how does your little crew feel about Lola?
My crew is, I mean, like
Diego. So Diego, what does your crew think? Sorry.
Okay, from me. I'm sorry. So Lola and Azul are sisters. And what happened to Lola again?
She just kind of got scooped up by Santiago. Like Santiago sort of elevated her from, you know, being this sort of low life person hanging around with you to now being like part of his little enforcer crew. Right?
Oh my gosh, Azul's so jealous.
All right, so like Azul won't
shut up about it.
Cool. And how do you feel about it?
Good for her. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll hook up later. I don't know.
She made it.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Cool.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe she'll put a good word in for us.
Yeah, right, exactly. Maybe
Santiago and I used to be tight. Some of these are like distance.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't even know.
She'll help you close that gap, man. Yeah, exactly. Okay, great. Isabel, last one.
Yes, so someone helped me get into this messy business, but they didn't tell me the whole story. Now we're both stuck. I actually think Lola introduced me to the boyfriend.
Great. That's good.
Lola.
How do you know Lola? Did you go to school together, like locally, like you're from Durango and like you went to school?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she introduced you to the boyfriend. And boyfriend, let's go with Paco.
Okay.
So when you dumped him, was he like surprised, angry? Like what was his kind of reaction to getting pushed out?
Yeah, I mean, like I tried to let him think that he could do the thing and I would just be, you know, helping or whatever. And then he just kept making mistakes and fucking shit up. And I couldn't take it. And he was kind of crushed and I felt bad. And then I cooked up another batch and made a shit ton of money, and I didn't feel so bad.
Great. So he kind of still pines for you, right? So he's like, no, it's like I've gotten so much better at doing shit. You should take me back and stuff. All right. Good. Okay. And last but not least, Diego, last one.
Diego.
Sorry.
Listen, I'm Diego. Okay, you just need to get that straight. We've only got 2 hours. You need to get my name. Don't worry about it, man. I'm just joking. All right, you and Blank have a plan to make some real money. They worry it's not going to work, but you know it's a sure thing.
It's totally Paco. I'm just saying.
It could totally be Paco. Yeah, I mean, he wants to impress her, right?
You don't have to take it. It's just a suggestion.
Sure, Paco sounds fun.
Cool. So what's Paco's big plan? How's he gonna make some money?
Counterfeiting.
Oh, he's got like a
He
color
saw
printer.
me drawing some stuff. He just knows that I can. I have no idea how he thinks this is gonna end, but I think we can make it work if we get the right plates. Maybe
Well, he
half
might.
off some of the smaller bills.
Yeah, he might actually have like a color copier.
Okay.
So like he's got his hands on this like 1998 color copier, and he's like, no, it's gonna work great. We're gonna get the right paper. We're gonna copy it and cut it up and launder it and all this shit. It's gonna be great.
Actually, well, it says he worries that it's not going to work, but I know it's a sure
Oh,
thing.
okay, cool.
Sounds like I was describing it wrong. Sorry.
Yeah,
So, yeah, he's got a color copier, and I've already passed off some of these bills at like the local market, and nobody even knows that he's sweating it. And I'm like, if we're just smart, if we're smart, we'll be fine.
Maybe he works at like an actual print shop, right? So you're sort of like illicitly getting access to the color copier.
Kinko's actually exists.
Yeah.
Was it in Mexico? Did they have a Kinko site?
Sure. Yeah, sure. There's some some Mexican version of that if there's not Kinko's, right? Some print shop that he's working at, and yeah, like you've gotten him to like get you access to the color printer and all this shit.
Cool.
Good. Okay. Cool. Good. So I think we're all set. That sounds good. I think we're tied in tight. Let's go ahead and do our start of session moves. So let's start just kind of like on Brian's side and go through. So Santiago, can you tell us your start of session move, please?
Yes, I can. Where is it? I have to roll control, but I can't remember where it is.
It's on your moves. It's the first move, La Plaza.
Oh, it's okay. So I roll with control, and I got an 8. Wait, plus control.
Just go ahead and re-roll it. Like let's roll it. Like let's have some suspense. Read the move.
Okay.
And then we'll roll.
All right. So at the beginning of the session, roll with control. On a 10 plus, my plaza yields surplus. On a 7 through 9, it yields surplus, but choose one trouble. And on a miss, troubles abound. All at once.
Yeah.
Okay. So my control is actually just plus 1.
Should be +2. You have +1 to start.
I have 1 plus 1 to start. So yes, I have +2.
You're pretty good hold.
Yeah. I'm amazing. But don't worry, I can screw this up. Here. 2, 3. There you go. That solved that problem right there.
It's a 7, so you pick one trouble.
So I'm going to say, I think I want the trouble to be the gang war.
Okay.
The Zetas are really, they're acting up, causing problems.
Okay, we'll get there in a minute. Let's do our other start of session moves. So, Isabel, go ahead and read your cooking move.
Yep. So it says, if I am fully stocked and regularly cooking at the start of session, roll plus. Great. On a 10 plus, your recent cooks have gone well. You make enough to cover your obligations and a little extra for yourself. On a 7 to 9, things are a little rocky. You cover your nut, but have to mark stress or use up the last of something vital. On a miss, something's gone wrong. One of your problems comes to bear full force.
Yep.
I got a 10.
Boom, 10. Cool. So everything's gone well with your cooking. We kind of see you sort of like sorting out all the drugs that you owe people, giving it all to the cartel people who come by to pick it up, and then you're sort of left with like an extra block that like it's not spoken for, right? So you have this extra block of heroin. There are on the back of the basic moves some stuff about drugs. Generally, a unit of drugs is 1 drug of whatever type. In this case, heroin is about 1 kilo of heroin is 1 unit of drugs. Cool. So you have this little block. Okay. And then finally, last but not least, again, Diego, tell us about
my start of session. At the beginning of each session, roll with hustle. On a hit hold 1, you can spend your hold already be listening to a conversation in a public place from a concealed position. On a 10 plus, I take +1 forward when I enter the scene. On a miss, there's some stuff. Who cares?
That's not going to happen.
I have a +1, and that is a 12.
12. Damn. I'm glad you guys are using up all your good
the
rolls.
Orhar kind of guy.
Yeah. So you're all set. If there's a public conversation happening, you can spend your hold to be in the scene. Kind of like the camera pans over and you're like behind your menu or whatever, like listening.
Sneaky.
Perfect. Good. Okay, cool. So let's open with.
Oh, when do we mark XP in this game?
Yes. So thank you for reminding me. So you mark XP on this game when you get a 10 plus.
Did that count?
That totally counts. Anytime you get a 10 plus, you mark XP. Cool. So go ahead and mark XP as well, Isabel, for your 10 plus. You do not get to mark XP, Santiago, for your 7 hits. It's not hits, it's 10 pluses. Cool. So
is it a natural or modified tempo? It's modified, right?
Modified, yeah. It doesn't have to be like actually 10 or higher on the dice. Cool. So let's go ahead and start with Santiago. So Santiago, you I think we'll start with a meeting between you and Diego. The two of you, you're meeting to catch up somewhere to kind of, you pay him to keep an eye out for you, and you check in with him regularly. So where would you meet somebody if you were looking to meet them in a relatively public place?
There's a cafe across from the cathedral in the main square that's nice and public, and my men know how to kind of like the best ins and outs of that plaza. So
great, yeah, great. And maybe it's a Sunday after church, right? So there's the kind of like when you see like an opening, right? There's the cathedral. It's like beautiful and tall, and then there's this sort of like flat sort of dirt, road kind of thing that turns into a little market within a cafe and like a bunch of open seating. And so we might actually, I think, Isabel, you're probably in the same area, right? Even though you might not be in the scene you're around. And Diego's kind of rushing to get to church lets out. You kind of head over to the cafe. So what do your guys look like, Santiago, when do they kind of roll up in black SUVs, that kind of thing, with like lots of sort of military gear? They're kind of public about it.
My group is fairly like flashy about it. Like they have like military fatigues with like vests with like full like stacked like extra clips and stuff like that. Like they're not fucking around.
Yeah.
So they are like when we roll up, it's known.
Yeah, great, cool. So, you have these two SUVs, right? They pull up. You get out of one of them. The other one just parks and waits, and a couple guys climb out and sort of like take up positions. There's probably a third SUV around the corner, and when you're looking around, right? Like the traffic kind of is going down the street nearby, but like it's not particularly like loud or boisterous. But there are a lot of people around. Like it's Sunday, people are out of church, people are shopping, and there's just kind of like a sunny day to it. Like it looks like a nice day. So Diego, what do you? Maybe you get there first. I think probably you're there when you watch these guys pull up. What's your sort of attitude when you see the SUVs and things? Like, what do you look like?
Oh, I'm wearing like a Pink Floyd T-shirt and like a pair of, it's like some nice khaki pants, some Adidas, just street clothes. I'm really nervous about this kind of stuff because I just have the one gun. So I'll let Moko carry that because he'll probably pat me down and he'll kind of hang back. Really don't want Flacco to walk up with me because he's an idiot. So it'll be just me and Azul, and Flacco's across the street feeding the birds or whatever he wants to do. Just don't sell anything. Don't start any trouble, okay?
Yeah, great. So I think we open with you like kind of telling these three, compadres like what the plan is, right? The plan is that Moko's going to take your gun, which is the only gun like the four of you have, right? He's going to hang back. And then Azul and you are going to go see El Naco, and Flacco's going to go feed the birds over there, right? Good. So go ahead and give me a Hermanos roll. Go ahead and read the roll for me.
Okay, Hermanos is when you try to get your oh, this is going to be bad. When you try to get your pandilla to follow your lead on something out of the ordinary. This is obviously out of the ordinary, meeting with the big guy with lots of guns. Dangerous or costly. I think it's all of the above. Roll with hustle, which is the one thing I chose not to put a +1 on. So here we go. Again, regretting not raising the hustle. Here we go. That's a fail. I have a +1. I rolled a 5, so that's a 6. doesn't say what happens on a miss, so it must be no big deal. Okay.
Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Yeah. So the Moko takes the gun, right, and he's like, yeah, no problem. Like they all seem to like follow their instructions. You and Azul are like, finally, like these two fuckheads like got it together, and you go and you like sit down in the cafe, and then like within like 5 or 6 minutes of waiting for Elnarko to show up, right, like Moko is like gone. You're like not sure where he went. You look over, like Flacco's like already arguing with somebody about the birds. Like he seems to be arguing with somebody about like the stuff he's trying. Like as you're like gonna stand up and maybe like I don't know, get these guys back in line or like get out your phone, you see the two black SUVs pull up, right? And you realize like these two just either they ditched you or they don't like they're not able to kind of keep it together long enough. It's just you and Azul here. Moko and Flacco are pretty much out of the picture. Okay, and the you know, as you sort of realize this, the guys pile out of the SUV and they come towards you to search you, like you said, right? I mean, they're the couple of enforcers that Santiago has are pretty serious, burly guys, and they're moving forward to search you. What do you do?
Hands up, like assume the position, not gonna fight it.
Yeah, so,
she's okay. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm all right. It's public. That's why we met in the cafe. It's all you can do.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. So yeah, he pats you down. Doesn't have any weapons, right? Like lifts up the little walkie-talkie, and he's like says something into it. And yeah, Santiago, your guy inside the car, Felipe, who's probably like your right-hand lieutenant who actually like runs the actual like enforcer guys, is like, yeah, all clear, boss.
All right. So Lola and I get out because Lola, I've sort of like taken Lola's like she's like my close bodyguard.
Yeah.
And so we get out, and she has like full like rifle, like like military track. And I'm not. I mean, I have a sidearm, but it's not like out or anything. No big deal.
You're just you're wearing military clothes though, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah, I have fatigues on and the vest, and it's like we're all like strapped and stuff, but I'm not like. I mean, I have my pistol on my side, but I'm the commander, right? Like it's how that works. So I calmly walk up and go and I just like before even Diego's allowed to sit down, before like my men allow him to sit down, I go and take a seat at one of the outdoor cafe tables and snap for a waiter to come and motion at the seat for Diego to sit down, join me.
Take a seat.
Awesome, cool. I want to pause that for a second. So back at the church, right? Isabel, you come out of mass, and there's kind of like the Sunday morning kind of bustle, and you see like the two SUVs parked across the street, and it's probably your uncle who's around. But as you're sort of looking out over the street, you hear this kind of like cough behind you.
Is it a cough I recognize?
Oh, it's totally Paco.
Yeah, it is.
What do you do?
Go. Hi.
Paco's like, he looks like he's kind of like dressed up a little bit, like looks like he's trying to be like a little with it and together.
Aww.
He's got kind of a beard, and he didn't really like trim it or anything, so the whole thing kind of looks like it's a little off. And you guys aren't kids anymore. Like his hair is thinning a little bit. He looks like he's not really with it, but he's trying, and he says. Isabel, it's just really I'm surprised to see you here.
Why? I come to church every Sunday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you do. You do, don't you? Yeah. Well, since you're here, I was hoping we could talk about, us.
Okay, what did you have in mind?
Well, I know that things didn't work out, but I've been really trying to pull myself together, and like you were saying a lot of things about like how I didn't know what I was doing, and like that was fair. Like I just want to let you know, like that was totally fair. But now I think I'm talking with some guys about making some money, and maybe like if we made some money, like maybe we could go away together. We go north.
North. The whole time while he's talking, like I'm glancing over at the thing that I care about that's happening.
Yeah, you're like trying to kind of like look out the corner of your eye.
Yeah, sure, great plan. Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you say? Oh, why would I want to leave? Why would I want to go away?
Well, you always said like this place was too small, like that. Like that was when you left, like you said, you needed to like figure things out because like what was it you said? The life I envisioned was too small, something like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't remember what I said. I'm doing pretty well. I'm pretty happy. I don't know that I would want to just give it all up.
Cool. So that sounds a little like you're trying to justify yourself, right? He's kind of like, hey, remember when you broke up with me? Like you shouldn't have done that. Like we can totally go north. And you're like, no, I actually am fine, thank you. Right? Like I'm totally good with my decision.
I have a move for this, so I'm actually going to go a little bit further with the explanation.
Awesome. Okay.
And just like, okay, so he's kind of pressing me, right? Like he's like, we want to get together and da-da-da. And I get to a point, and I'm just like, Paco, oh my God, you are terrible at it. What makes you think that this would work?
Right.
So I feel like this is an uncomfortable emotional outburst.
Yeah, you kind of like make a scene, right? Like other people around you are kind of like looking, and you're like yelling at him. He's got his little like hat in his hands, and you're kind of just like letting loose on him. It's not quite verbally shaming him, right? Like you're not trying to tear him down, but there's just kind of like a lot like, what are you talking about? Like we've been broken up for years, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm rolling with grit instead of face, which is good.
Great.
10 again.
Bam, that's it. Okay, cool. Mark XP. He says, like, you probably say something that like kind of punches him in the face. What do you kind of end with that like really like
I think it's probably something along the lines of, I don't understand how you think you could ever amount to anything.
Nice. So he says, yeah.
I feel bad.
He kind of just like backs up a little bit, and he's like, yeah, okay, well, I'm gonna go then. And like he turns around to leave. Let's cut back to our other two. So you're sitting there. What did you order, Santiago? What did you want from the waiter?
I ordered a I don't know. Do they do a granizado down here? Or horchata. No, I'll get an horchata.
Okay, yeah, cool. So it's kind of a real basic drink, right? Like it's almost like the opposite of fancy, right? So they bring the horchata and they set two horchatas down, one for you, one for Diego.
Yeah. All right, Diego. So I want you to go ahead with your report for this week. What's been going on?
Oh, well, not much really. The product's moving relatively well. The smiley face thing on the packages surprisingly worked well. I've started adding like little details, eyebrows and stuff. They like that kind of extra touch. Really, no problems, Efe.
So no problem. So every shipment that has gone through your people has made it across just fine?
I'm gonna get my notebook out of my pocket and pull out this like little ring-bound, spiral-bound notebook, and I flip it open. I start running down the numbers.
Great, cool. It sounds to me like Santiago's actually trying to get the truth out of you, right? Like he's pressuring you to find out, like, well, what's really going on? Right, so we're gonna have Santiago roll. You can interfere if you want, Rich, in just a second, but let's see what his roll turns out to be first. So this is with hustle.
Oh god, I lost my dice. All right, then. All right. So I have a 7 plus my hustle is a big fat 0.
Okay.
So On a 7 through 9, I get to choose one.
Yeah. Before that, he might want to interfere, though. Do you want to interfere?
I would like to interfere because who doesn't want more hard moves?
That's right. Yeah. What would you like to? How would you like to interfere?
I have no idea how you interfere in this game.
Sure. So the way interfering works is you're going to mark stress to interfere, and however much stress you mark is the bonus on your roll. Then you roll, and on a 10 plus, there's no sort of danger or complication. You just sort of get in their way. On a 7 to 9, you expose yourself to some danger, entanglement, or cost.
The cost maybe Flacco?
Could be. So if you want to interfere, the first question is how much stress do you want to mark? You already have 2 stress on your sheet because we're just kind of jumping in.
Yeah, what happens when I fill up my stress box?
Well, when you fill up your stress box, you need to do some stress moves, right? Stress moves are moves that alleviate your stress and reduce it.
I see this here on the basics. Oh, man. Those don't look good at all. I'll mark stress. I'll mark 1 stress.
Okay, cool. Stress moves are things like, so for example, verbally shame someone. So, Isabel came really close to verbally shaming Paco. She kind of just pushed him off and justified herself, but if she had pursued that, she totally had an opening to, like, alleviate her stress by taking out all of her, like, frustration and anger at the world on Paco. That's the kind of thing. So, yeah, you mark 1 stress and go ahead and roll +1.
Oh my goodness, I've so blown this off.
Damn, mark XP. So you have a 12. So how do you get in the way? What does that look like?
Oh, good question. I just keep kind of doing the math. Like, no. Like here, that I carried the 1, so we have 46 packages, but I had 3 left over from last week, and I actually moved those in like a package deal at this one party that I threw. And so we actually are to the good when you thought you were back in these. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
So all the money.
He kind of just overwhelms you with all the detail of it, right? Shit, you don't even care about this. Like it's chump change, right? And as you're kind of just like there's just a lot going on, and you don't notice. We as the audience notice that there are several cars that have kind of pulled up in the area, and I'm gonna have you mark 1 stress, Santiago, as like the kind of cacophony of numbers kind of comes at you. And Felipe says, Santiago, like he says something to you, and you just kind of like you're not interested. This is too important. Like you really feel like he's hiding something from you. Like this all feels very distracting.
Right. So, all right. Now, I've been hearing a lot of things about how, the Zetas have been very, very involved in our business here lately, and you have had no trouble from them whatsoever with all of the things that you've been going, all this stuff, nothing from the Zetas. Everything's just going totally fine.
Oh, the Aztecas are a problem. The Zetas, no problems with the Zetas this week.
None at all.
Do you think if I had trouble with the Zetas, wouldn't I tell you, the guy with all the guns? I would tell you.
I hope so, Diego. I sincerely hope so.
Hold on. So that sounds like you're justifying, right? Because you're saying like, well, if I had trouble, I would have told you, right? Well, yeah, exactly. Good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm justifying my behavior, which means I roll with face. Yay! I put a +1 in there, so I'm +2. I will see what happens. This is going to be a low roll because I just got excited. Oh, that's an 8, so I'll live with that. Okay. On a 7 to 9, I get to choose 1. If they accept your reasoning, they clear 1 stress. If they don't accept your reason, they mark 1 stress. Woo, you have to make a stress move, which means you yell at me, so you don't want to do that.
Oh, don't I?
Now, when you mark
when
you mark your 4th stress, you don't have to make a stress move right away. You can wait, but you can't mark any more stress, which means like no helping people, no resisting, sort of being pushed around. Like you're kind of just in a mindset where like, life just sucks today and I can't deal with it. However, if a move ever makes you mark 1 more stress, you have to take a stress move right away. Like you can go into debt, but only for like 10 seconds, and then you need to go do one of the stress moves. So you can either clear a stress and be like, okay, fine, I believe you. Or you can mark a stress and continue to kind of push this line of reasoning.
Well, let's push the system a little bit. So I'm not gonna accept. I'm taking my 4th stress right now.
Awesome. So Azul, like when you don't like immediately back down when he says that, Azul like actually like scoots her chair back a little bit, right? Like she's like trying to back up. You see Lola like kind of like shift a little bit. Like she's standing up next to you, kind of shifts the gun, maybe even like flicks the safety off. And like yeah, Azul whispers to you like in this sort of moment of silence while El Narco collects himself. She's like, we should go.
So I look around to see why would that be the case? What do I notice immediately?
Yeah, and you sort of like as you've been kind of going at it, you see that there's a number of vehicles that have stopped like around, and
like inside the danger area where I would normally have people cleared out.
Yeah, like your guys are kind of watching them, and Felipe, like Felipe's kind of like been trying to get your attention, but he doesn't want to interrupt, right? Like he's thinking about pushing it, but he like kind of like and Azul like you can tell she's freaked out. You're not sure if it's just about you or about the like other guys, but like Azul is very like nervous right now.
Yeah, I want to get up and I want to kind of. Can I size these guys up? Whatever's going on around here, around the plaza?
Maybe you kind of have to stand up and walk away. So why don't we pause there for you for a second and go back to Isabel. So Isabel, you see like once Paco kind of like wanders off, right? Like you kind of got rid of him, and you see these like other vehicles kind of pulling up in the area. You do see your uncle now, right? And he's actually talking to Diego, which pretty weird.
Weird or weirdly inevitable.
You are not surprised. You are surprised that you're not surprised.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. What do you do?
What would I sort of think about these cars rolling up? Would I like I don't have context.
Yeah. Well, so there's kind of like, your uncle is a tough guy, but you also know that Los Zetas has been looking. I mean, if they kill him, then that kind of shapes the power in the region, right?
Yeah.
So if these are cars of cops, maybe they're just watching. If they're cars and they're, other cartels, then maybe they're here to start some shit. Or maybe they're just cars. Like, you don't know. Could be just cars of people who are parked in the area.
They're not just cars. That's not how this works.
Probably not.
Yeah. What am I gonna do? Yeah. So I think I actually go over towards my uncle because obviously he needs to move, and for some reason he's not moving, and maybe I can help that situation along.
Do you like try to draw attention to yourself as you head that direction?
Yes.
Or yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Cool. So what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you push your luck here to like kind of get their attention before anything happens.
What is this? This is plus
grit.
Yay!
Why don't you read it for our audience at home?
When you push your luck, roll with grit. On a 10 plus, fortune favors the bold. On a 7 to 9, things don't work out like you planned, but there's a chance you could turn things around if you act quickly or make a tough choice. 10.
Riding high, great. So you sort of run out and you're waving, and I think we'll just connect these scenes. So Diego and Santiago, when Azul kind of steps back, like scoots back in her chair, and you look, you actually see your niece running and waving at you and pointing at one of the cars, right? Like she's like running and waving and trying to get your attention. What are you saying, Isabel?
I'm like, what are you doing? Why aren't you going away? What are you doing here? Why are you sitting there drinking your horchata?
Right. So there's like this kind of like yelling and running. And Santiago, what do you do?
So I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna verbally abuse or shame Lola.
Okay.
Right now. I'm gonna use my stress move right now. So I'm gonna say, "Puta, ¿qué está haciendo? Why are you letting this stuff roll up here? What is going on? You are doing your job." I mean, just like put her down in her place right fucking now.
Okay, great. In front of her old crew, in front of everybody.
In front of Azul as well.
Yeah, just
looks up to her.
Yeah, really tear her down. Great, cool.
Yeah.
So go ahead and read that stress move for me.
Okay. So when I verbally abuse or shame a character you care about, and I do, I've taken her under my wing.
Yeah.
I roll with a face. On a hit, they crumble and mark stress. 10 plus, I get to clear my stress track. On a 7th round, I clear 1. And on a miss, my cowardice is clear, and they get +1 ongoing against.
Right.
So that's not going to go well. All right. So my face right now is +1. So I rolled an 8.
Yeah. Cool. So on the 8, like Lola, like you see her like kind of like be stunned. Like she realizes she wasn't really paying attention. She was watching Diego and Azul and kind of like lording it over them and being like, "Look how cool I am! I'm in charge, and you're just fucking lowly." And like you catch her like really off guard. Like it really hits her hard. So you clear 1 stress because doesn't really do it for you. Like you're just kind of lashing out at her. You know you're actually in trouble and you're exposed right now. But she takes it hard. Now, NPCs can mark stress, but like marking harm, they can't mark very much of it. So like you can visibly see that she's shaken. Like it has a real effect right away. And she starts yelling at Felipe like, "Fucking move! Like go! Like what are we doing here?" Like she kind of like tries to step up and like look big. And at that moment, one of the cars, like it's a little like like a station wagon kind of thing. Like it's kind of beat up. It doesn't look very fancy. Like it kind of blends in with the other cars that are around. The window rolls down, and like an assault rifle comes out of the window and opens fire on the plaza, like on the little cafe where you all are. What do you do?
I'm gonna push my luck because I don't just fold any jackass who comes at me with a gun. Like I'm unhooking my pistol and I'm gonna stand up and I'm shooting back.
You just shoot this guy. Yeah, there's no taking cover. Like,
I'm not taking cover from this.
Yeah. Do you actually take Lola's gun?
No. I'll take my own pistol.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. So you just like unhook. You're like fucking what? Like and you like take it and just start shooting at the car. Awesome. That's great. Okay, cool. So the first thing is I'm gonna have you push your luck as you kind of like get your gun out and walk towards it, and then I'll have you turn to violence, assuming that things go smoothly.
Okay. So I'm rolling with grit, which is -1, unfortunately, but that's a 7. So.
Does anybody want to interfere with El Narco's role?
I would help.
No.
Thank you.
All right. So helping is a +1. Interfering is a -2. But yeah, helping wouldn't help here. It would still be under a 10. So good. So things don't work out like you planned. So you're ready for the assault rifle, right? Like the bullets kind of like you hear them kind of springing all over. And you're ready for that. But one of the other cars that you can't see was out of your line of sight. You see Isabel, like they have like a rocket launcher, and one of the SUV that you came out of, like while you're sort of getting your gun out and getting ready to walk towards it, like it catches a rocket propelled grenade like right in the window, and the SUV just like blows up and like flips in the air, right? And like you're not super close to it, but the force of it kind of knocks you off balance, right? And you realize that you're going to have to take cover, or you're probably going to take a bullet. So which is it going to be? Do you want to take cover, or are you willing to sort of, take a bullet and keep on your feet?
This is Isabel, right?
No, you. It's for you.
Oh, it's me. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking. Oh. No. I'm gonna stay on my feet because El Capitan does not step down to any displays of violence. I don't care if it's the Zetas.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter, right? Okay, cool, good. So you get a really clear bead on the guy inside the car. He's wearing military gear. Like this is not like a mob hit where it's like guys in street clothes. Like they're wearing the same kind of gear you're wearing. They're military trained. The assault rifle looks like it's in good condition, but you see him very clearly. And you totally like take a bullet, like in your shoulder, to harm, like bam, right through, like clean shot, right as you raise your gun. And go ahead and turn to violence for me.
Okay, so I'm going to roll with savagery. My savagery is +2, and I got a 12.
Great. So
I'm not going to use. Wait. So are we talking about the guy with the assault rifle, or are we talking about the guy with the missile launcher?
the missile launcher's on the other side of you.
Oh, that's too far away. Okay.
Super.
So because so I stood up, I shot some bullets at that. That's not really like working. That's not really my style. So I'm just going to pull a grenade off of my vest.
Okay. Cool.
Because we have military hardware.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to like throw it underneath the car.
That sounds great. So yeah, he's kind of shooting at you. You shoot back at him a couple of times. He kind of like pulls back inside the car. You realize it's going to be pretty hard to pierce the car door with your handgun. So yeah,
Right.
you just pull the grenade off, throw it into the car, and it goes off. Boom. So what do? Inflict terrible harm, suffer little harm, avoid taking stress, or avoid collateral damage.
I get to choose 3 because of my amazing roll. So I'm going to inflict terrible harm. I will suffer. I'll take suffer little harm.
Great.
And then I don't care about avoiding collateral damage. So I will avoid taking any more stress. Thank you.
Great, cool, good. So the way that violence works here is we're going to trade harm. Given that they're not really shooting at you because of the way the fiction worked out, I would say that would usually be 1 harm. They're not directly shooting at you like with a full attack. But it's suffering little harm, you're not going to take any harm at all. You inflict terrible harm, which given it's a grenade and the car, it's pretty bad, right? Usually the car would offer some protection, but you time it perfectly and the grenade just rips the car to shreds. You avoid taking any more stress. In Cartel, when you do violence, you have to mark stress. Usually it's 1 unless the violence is in some way extreme or really nasty. Like cutting somebody's head off with a machete would be 2 stress, right? But normally it's just 1 stress to do. But you're like a cold stone killer, right? You're military. You don't you do this shit all the time. This is what happens. And so you don't mark any stress. But there is collateral damage. So Isabel, you're running towards.
How did I know this was going to be me?
You're running towards them, right? The rocket launcher goes off. You're kind of like, whoa. And then the car that's maybe 20 or 30 feet in front of you just erupts, right? And you see your uncle, he pulls the grenade, throws it, right? All of that. You don't take any damage, but you're knocked pretty clearly off your feet, by the force of the grenade. And the stall that this car is in front of just catches on fire, right, goes up. And you can see some people inside of it, who are kind of running and trying to get away. But they're the little stall is made of just really cheap wood. It's kind of catches on fire, and they're not. You see a couple of people kind of huddling inside. What do you do?
I mean, I want to help the people, but I also want to not get set on fire.
Oh, the tough choices.
Yeah. Is there anything around that I can use to sort of pull down maybe some of the burning wood or something and make the doorway kind of bigger or something?
Yeah, you could probably. You're looking for something that will maybe widen the doorway.
Yeah.
There's probably some wheelbarrows or other sort of construction equipment around in the market. You might be able to grab something and kind of roll it towards it so it knocks a hole in the wall, that kind of thing.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right, great. Why don't you push your luck and we'll see how that works out for you.
Okay. 6. Does not work out well for me.
It does not, right? So you sort of panic, right? You're looking around for something. You spot a wheelbarrow that's filled with bricks or something. So you think maybe that'll have enough force to get close. And you run over to kind of grab it. And as you sort of get load a brick or 2 extra in it, try to get enough weight, you hear the click of a gun, the sort of the gun cock. And there's a guy, right, with a assault rifle, an Uzi probably, right? That's doesn't have an assault rifle, he has an Uzi, and he's has you sort of dead to rights, tells you get in the car, and you see him wave one of the vehicles over, right? So he's wearing the same military gear. He's got on like a little headset thing, right? Like short black hair. He's fairly dark skin. He's got like a goatee, and he like waves the other car over, and like reaches for you. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm gonna get in the car with him because he's got an Uzi on me, and I like to live.
Great, cool. So you kind of like just kind of go with it. Good. All right, Diego. It's been a little while since we've seen you, so let's come back to you. There's been like some exchange here. What did you do when the firefight started?
Well, I grabbed a little bit of food off the table and then ducked underneath.
Grab like the sandwich off the table and get underneath.
Yeah, like, it was like a burrito, some huevos rancheros or something. You know, I got underneath. I grabbed Azul by the arm, like, get down. And then when Santiago moved out, I like flipped the table over because it's a cafe, right? So something. Yeah. You know, and we're hiding behind the table. Then I'm launching a little bit. Kind of scared, but this isn't new.
Yeah.
So, you're
used to
kind of waiting for it to all blow over.
Yeah, you see one of the other cars that's sort of like a little bit down the street is more like an SUV, right? It's an older one. They're trying to blend in, but like 4 or 5 guys get out of the car, and they all have like weapons, vests on, the whole thing. They all kind of are headed this direction, and you see that most of Santiago's guys are shooting at the car with a rocket-propelled grenade, right? Like they're shooting at that car, and you're not sure if they've seen these other guys coming this way. What do you do?
Is there anywhere I could like duck into the cafe itself?
Yeah,
like, crawl real quick to get in there.
Yeah. So you are, you're trying to, you and Azul are just trying to get away, right? So like,
what are we gonna do? Give them harsh language?
Yeah, right. Like yell at them a little bit, right? Yeah, exactly. Cool. So you
like, hey, here's another target you didn't even think was interesting.
I know you're here to kill Santiago, but would you like to shoot me a couple times?
I happen to be at the cafe table with him, so obviously I should be in trouble.
Yeah.
No, I'm getting into the cafe.
Yeah, cool. So you have a move that would probably apply here. Do you want to read it for us?
Oh yes, I probably do have a move. It's Bendito, when you're completely focused on surviving a violent encounter, you're tough to kill. Gain +1 armor when you're trying to flee from violence without returning fire.
There you go. Yeah, so you're going to try to, like, basically run into the cafe and maybe, like, go out the back door so that you don't have to deal with these folks?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, why don't you push your luck here, and we'll see how it goes.
All right. Just want to make sure to push your luck. There we go. Roll with grit. I'm not very gritty. Just flat +2 or +0. So here we go. That's an 8.
Perfect. Good. Cool. So like you're running and like you very narrowly avoid serious damage. So normally I would say you take like 1 harm, right? Like while maybe actually they're using like assault rifles, so probably not quite full harm because you're kind of like running through this. Then they're not shooting directly at you. Normally, I would say you take 2 harm, right, as you're like fleeing the area. You like catch a bullet in the shoulder or something, like in the arm, right? But you're tough to kill, right? So you have that +1 armor. It only ends up being 1 harm. Like it grazes you. It's not a serious amount. And
okay. Is there a harm move or anything, or I just
nope. You just eat the 1 harm. Like you manage to kind of like make it out the back door. And grab an Azul, bring her with you. You don't know where the fuck Moko and Flaco are, but like hopefully they're safe. And you kind of like bail, right?
Sweet.
Cool. All right, good. Santiago, what now? You're Felipe sort of turns around and starts shooting at the guys coming the other direction. You see Diego kind of like hightail it out of there. What do you do?
I'm gonna. So Felipe and my guys that are in the SUV.
Yeah.
Like they're leaving or they're gone?
No, they're turning around and firing at the guys that are coming from behind you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna like back up, like walking backwards toward the SUV to get in that, but I'm gonna be like firing off the entire time, shouting at these putos who don't want to like doing this cowardly act.
Great. So why don't you go ahead and turn to violence with your whole gang? right? So it's sort of like gang on gang. You're a 3-harm small 2 armor gang, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And they're like a 3-harm small 1 armor gang. So you're just kind of like even with each other. Go ahead and give me a roll on the turn to violence with that.
Okay. Oh, that is not good.
That is poorly timed, right?
We do have +2 armor, so that's good.
Yeah, so this goes poorly, right? You're sort of yelling at them, and Felipe's kind of like up on, like they've got the door open to the SUV, and he's kind of like tries to climb up to get some high ground, and you just see like a bullet like bam right through his skull, like he drops, right? Lola's kind of shooting and like trying to keep them off, but she's kind of like losing her shit. Like she's not. This is probably the first time she's like really been in it, and several of your guys are cut down. Your gang's not like smaller yet. Like you're still a small gang, but you're like right on the verge. Like between one of your SUVs going down and Felipe going down, like your folks are starting to crumble. What do you do?
I mean, I'm going to retreat. I'm trying to get in the SUV, and we're going to try to GTFO.
Yeah, time to bolt. Okay, cool. Yeah. So go ahead and push your luck. See if you can get into the SUV. Right, you kind of like grab Lola and try to like the two of you get in, and whoever's still alive, and try to get out of here. Yeah.
Right. That's slightly better. So plus, this is pushing my luck. So this is with grit.
Yeah.
No. Oh, that's not good. That's worse. That's -1. So that's a 6.
Okay, cool, good.
It's not a good day for Santiago.
It is not a good day for you. So I think you managed to kind of like pull yourself into the car, but one of the other cars that's on the scene like starts to like kind of like that's across the street starts up and like as you're trying to drive off actually manages to like get in your way, like slams into the SUV hard and manages to kind of like keep you from moving too far. Now, Isabel, you're kind of being dragged into the SUV, right? Like by these guys. You could potentially help if you wanted to. Is there some way that you would be able to help Santiago here?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I want to help by just making a big fuss and screaming and like maybe if somebody's got their hand near my face, I might bite them.
Yeah, that's great. Good. Yeah, so they're kind of like trying to get you into the car, and you like bite the guy and like try to disrupt them long enough for Santiago to maybe make his escape. All right, good. Yeah, go for it.
So I'm gonna mark 1 stress.
Okay.
Be able to add 1 to this roll. Do 10.
You were like the luckiest. Yeah, so you like bite the guy's hand and like just kind of your hand the gun and like you sort of like fire off the gun. Some of the guys that the car that hits you, like they look over and they're like confused and look and just like crack the window and like shoot the car and like kill 2 or 3 of those guys, and you manage to kind of like pull it. So 7 on a push your luck now, right? Santiago?
What was that? I missed it.
You have a 7 on your push your luck? Because she gave you a +1.
No, I got a 6.
But she gives you a +1 by helping.
That's what she was doing. Okay.
Yes. She helps you out. Yeah. So she totally. Hooray!
My niece comes through.
So here's the tough choice. If you try to stop and help her, the SUV will probably you're pretty sure you won't be able to get it started again. Like when they hit you, the motor's already getting kind of fuzzy, and you're pretty sure if you stop, you're stopped here. You have to stay here. If you abandon her and just like take off in the SUV, then you're good. Like you can totally clear the plaza and get back to a safe area, but you're gonna end up leaving Isabel behind.
No, she's familia. We stay. So I'm gonna. So is her car close to me at any point? Like
So there's the street, right? The car that was next to you, Lola just shut up. Ahead of you to the right is this van that's pulled up that's dragging her inside. You see her getting dragged inside. The area to the left of you is clear. There's a smoldering car there, right, with people that are kind of trapped in the burning market.
Then I'm just going straight for the van that has Isabel in it. Like those guys have made a bad decision.
All right, great. What are you gonna do? Are you just gonna crash the SUV into the van?
I'm actually in my SUV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
No.
managed to pull yourself in. Yeah.
Then yeah, we're just gonna slam right into it. Like this is. I'm not leaving my family.
Awesome. Cool. I think I want to before we resolve that, I want to cut over to Rich and kind of like do a little bit of other stuff, but like we'll come back to this. So Rich, you Diego, you're like abandoning ship, trying to get out. Do you call Moko or Flacco as you're going out, or like do you just bolt? Like where do you go next?
Oh, I totally whip out my sidekick, and I send him a quick text. Like, you guys gotta meet me at the fountain.
Yeah, yeah.
Bring the gun.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So you got your little sidekick out. That's awesome. Yeah. You're sort of like running away right from the market towards the fountain, and as you get closer, like there's Moko, like, and he's like kind of looking smug, like he's like, yeah, what up, what up, man? Like he looks excited.
Like, is he just in the alley? Is he staying at the fountain?
He's probably ahead of the fountain. Like it looks like he was walking away from the market. Like he was where you told him to be, but like it looks like he's walking away, and he like, like when he sees you, he kind of waves like, I got your text. Yeah. I'll meet you with yeah.
Man, what is up with you? You left us out hanging to dry, man. You just took off?
And he like pulls out like a roll of money, probably like $500, maybe 1,000. He's like, this guy just told me to like go for a walk and gave me this money. Oh.
Did you hear the shooting?
That was shooting? I thought it was like fireworks or something.
Please go away while we have a little firework display at the plaza when I'm meeting with Santiago. That's what you thought happened. I get half of that. And then split it with Azul. Because we almost died.
So you're just gonna like take it out of his hands? Like, are you just gonna like snap it up?
I just told him he has to give me half.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. He's like, yeah, no, that's not good. I'm sorry, man. Like,
a text would have been nice.
Well, you're in the position where like, he fucked up. You want to kind of like, shame him and really into it. You clear some stress. Like, this is a great time to do it.
Yeah, I was actually kind of leading towards that. Do I need to push harder to?
So verbal everybody needs to be like, you need to like dig into it. It needs to be more than just like you fucked up. It needs to be like, you are a fuck up. Like, you need to shame them as a person.
Okay, so here's the deal, Moko. Okay, I gave you the gun. Do you know what that means? If violence happens, it's on you to make sure that our asses get pulled out of the fire. I said Flacco to mess with the birds. Is that what I should be doing with you? Like, you guys are the bird patrol now? Like, you move some of the product, and then you fuck around with the birds. That's your job now? Is that what you want? Like, come on,
he's like, no, man, no, I'm sorry.
I thought
no.
we were tight.
Yeah, good, cool. Make your roll. That's awesome. I love the bird patrol. Are you fucking bird patrol?
Okay, and I'm sorry. So I'm rolling the stress.
Yep. So look at your stress move. The stress move for verbally shame or abuse someone is when you verbally abuse or shame a character you care about. You care about Moko. Like he's your brother. He's a good guy. Roll with face. On a hit, they crumble and mark stress. On a 10+, you're going to clear your whole stress track. On a 7 to 9, you're only going to clear one stress.
I have quite the face of +2. Here we go. Oh. 7.
It was unfairly, yeah.
That's 4 and 1's 5 and +2 7. So, yeah.
So you clear one stress. He totally like his face just falls, and he's like, "Look, I'm sorry. Just like don't put me with Flacco. Like he's like a total chingado. Like he's not like I'm not like him. I promise you. Like I'm not like him. Look, like I even like I still have the gun. Like I still have it. Like I didn't lose it. Like he gets the gun out of his pocket. Like holds it out for you.
I'll take the gun. I'll put it in my waistband. Check the safety. Check the safety.
Right. Like right. Okay. Cool. He's like, what are we gonna do?
Go wait for our idiot Flacco, and then if Santiago lives, we keep working. If Santiago's dead, we find product and keep working for whoever killed Santiago, man. I mean,
Moko nods like, man, you're so fucking smart.
we're cucarachas, man.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Cool. Okay, let's cut back to our extremely foolish Nako, who's gonna take on the Los Angeles by himself. So yeah, so you just like push your luck, like bam, just drive the SUV right into the van.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I'm saving my family. I don't leave family.
I think I'm actually cursing at you, like, what the fuck? Why didn't you go? I can handle myself.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so this is
You're gonna
not
win
good.
this one.
Oh God.
Oh
It
no.
is, yeah. So it's not. It doesn't go well again.
Great. So you just like you drive just like it's a big SUV, right? And you have a lot of money, so it's probably like a military SUV, right? Like, I mean, it's
Right.
like it's nice. You go 0 to 60, like maybe we have like a little flashback of you like buying the car, right? And like the guy, like, we come back from commercial and it's like the guy telling you all about the vehicle, right? when you hit the van, it's like a major car wreck, right? Like you just throw the car in as hard as you can, and like drive just like screeching tires, and like the guy, like the van door is open, Isabel, like they have only got kind of like partially got you inside, and the guy that's got you is like screaming like, vamonos, go now, let's go, right? And then there's just this like screeching crash as like the SUV like impacts, and like kind of everything goes black. Santiago, you come to like mark of harm for sure. Like you come to, and like there's the smoke of the car wreck and the like kind of the steam and the blood, and you sort of like shake your head. You probably broke your arm. I think like that's probably where the harm is. Like
I'm not doing well.
you're not doing well. How much harm have you taken?
3.
Like you're in a bad place, right? And you look over and you see that Lola, like, she's not moving. She wasn't wearing a seatbelt. The glass in front of you, like there's a big sort of circular mark where her head probably like hit the thing and dropped backwards, and her assault rifle is kind of laying next to her, like whatever kind of like rifle she had. And
something goes right for me today.
You're not sure if she's alive or dead, but she's in a bad fucking place.
My priority is still Isabel.
Okay, great. So you grab the assault rifle?
Yeah, so I grab the assault rifle and I'm gonna size these vatos up.
Yeah, great. So you have to like kind of like kick out the door to like kind of get it right.
Yeah.
And, Isabel, you're inside the car, the van. It's lying on its side, right? The open door is up. You've taken probably 2 harm,
Okay.
right, from like getting getting in this like major car accident. You kind of like put your hand up to your nose, and you're bleeding, but some of it's kind of already drying. You're not sure how long you were kind of out, and you can see that the guy who had you is like kind of slumped over, but he's kind of coming to, and he's got his Uzi like still kind of like wrapped around him, but he's kind of a little shaky. What do you do?
I'm gonna slam my elbow face.
You're just gonna try to like knock him out before he can get up. Awesome, that's great. Go ahead and give me a turn to violence roll.
What is it? Savagery?
Savagery.
Okay.
What's your
7.
savagery?
It's plus 0.
Plus
So
0.
I got
Great.
a 7.
Okay, cool. Pick 2 moves. Pick 2 off the list.
I would pick I avoid taking stress, but this is absolutely an appropriate use of stress. So I'm not going to pick that. I suffer little, and I avoid collateral damage.
Great, cool. Good. So you just you can see him. He's trying to get the gun up, and you just like crack him with your elbow as hard as you can, and like it hurts. Like it like sucks to like hit somebody with your elbow like that. Have you ever done that before?
No.
Right. You're like, I've seen this work in the
It
movies.
seems like a good idea, but damn.
Right, exactly. So he kind of like, his head kind of cocks backwards, and he slumps down in his seat, and he seems to be out. But yeah, he was gonna mark a stress. He's super fucking stressful.
Yeah. I'm in 4 stress now.
You're at 4 stress. Okay, cool. If anything else makes you mark a stress, you have to do a stress move right away. As it is now, you just can't help or interfere with anybody.
Okay.
So, Santiago, you see one of the guys like kind of like pushing the door out from the van. The van is lying on its side. Like you kind of step out, you're all bloody and like fucked up, but you've got the assault rifle, right? And you're like walking towards the car, and you see one of them like kind of trying to climb out the van door. So go ahead and size him up.
Oh, okay. So that's gonna be plus
savage.
Plus savagery, yeah. Oh yeah, there we go. I sized the bejesus out of this guy.
Yeah, good. So you get to ask 3 questions of this guy.
Well, let's see. What is his immediate weakness?
So the guy climbing out of the car, like you can see he has some sort of Uzi or something that he's kind of trying to get up, but he's pretty dazed. Like he's clearly rocked from the car accident, and it looks like he was the guy that was driving the car.
Okay. I want to know how I can hurt his family, like this group. Like, what's the most harm I can do to them?
Well, so the question is, how can I hurt you or your family? So I have the option of not, you don't recognize this guy, actually. He's not from Durango.
Oh.
Right? So like you're pretty sure, like, you know a lot of the people that are around. Yeah. Right? Like you would, especially like a crew of folks like this, you would probably know who it was, but you don't know him. Right? What you could do to hurt him is like he is already kind of like busted up. You could do any number of things to physically break him further. He's pretty vulnerable.
Okay. I want to see who here is scared of this guy.
So there's a whole bunch of people in the market that are still kind of like cowering, right? And like as he gets up, he kind of like, like he hasn't necessarily seen you coming yet. He kind of waves the gun at a couple of people. One of them being Flacco, who's like actually like behind something. Like he kind of pokes his head up and like puts it right back down. Right. So there's a whole bunch of folks around here that like they're not really sure. Like, should we run away? Is that going to get us shot more? Should we like hunker down? Right. And like they're all terrified of these guys.
I wanna just cut behind him, like not even just pow. Just keep moving past this guy. Like, he is not a thing that's... I just have to take care of this.
Yeah. Great. Go ahead and turn to violence for me.
Okay. So that's an 8.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yep. Go ahead and choose your options.
So on a 7 through 9, I choose 2. I'm going to inflict terrible harm, and I'm going to avoid collateral damage. I'm not hitting anyone but this guy. So I'll take the stress, and I don't care about harm to me. Okay,
cool. So in this case, we trade harm, but his harm is established. Like, he's actually not paying attention to you. We already established that. So he's not going to do any harm to you. But inflicting terrible harm means that you like really kill this guy. So what does that look like, that you do this in a kind of like terrifying way?
I'm not even like looking at this guy as I like walk up to and past him and just like in the back of the head, and he's like waving his gun around and like kind of panicked and just gets like smacked in the back of the head, and that's it. It's over for him. And he just drops like
Cool. He's like half in, half out of the car. Yeah. So yeah, Isabel, you see the guy, like you're kind of like trying to get your bearings. You see the guy kind of climbing out, and like the whole angle of it's weird to you, right? Because like you're on the side. Right, and like he's kind of trying to climb out the front door, and all of a sudden you hear this like crack, crack, and like he just slumps. What do you do?
I mean, I think like I'm trying to get a good look. Although, I mean, this is the bad guy, so the bad guy is something, which is good. So I'm gonna try and scramble out of this van because I would like to not be in this van anymore.
Great, good, cool. Go ahead and push your luck for me, and we'll see you get out of the van.
12.
12. Perfect. Cool. So you sort of like there's one guy kind of reaches for your foot as you're getting up, but you just sort of scramble out and you sort of fall out like onto the sort of dusty hard dirt, and you see Santiago standing there, like he's got his assault rifle, like there's kind of like smoke and shit around, like there's still the car that's caught on fire, and you hear this like the distance coming very close, like police sirens, right? Like finally,
yeah.
Like this whole thing is taking just a few minutes, but finally the cops are kind of clued in here. What do you do? Like, you see him standing there. What do you do?
Yeah, we have to not be here. So let's go.
Yeah. So I'm gonna help her out of the car, and we're gonna.
I mean, I have a car.
Left?
Yeah, I have my car.
Oh yeah, you have your car parked at the church.
Yes, I have a decent car.
Yeah, that's great. So you have a car parked at the church. That's awesome. Yeah.
I mean, maybe it has a couple bullet holes in it now, but it's fine.
Well, it's a little ways away, right? Like you guys have to kind of like run that direction. Great. So the two of you kind of like run that way, like kind of like messed up.
Leaning up against each other.
Yeah, totally. Good. Okay, back to Diego. So Diego, you hear like a couple more gunshots, then it gets kind of quiet, then you hear the police sirens. What do you do?
Flacco hasn't shown up. Did he respond to the text?
Flacco texts you back. He's like, hey, you okay?
Yeah. I'm fine.
Yeah. He texts
Meet us at the fountain. Where are you?
He's like, I'm right by it. Like, just saw Santiago almost get killed by a bunch of dudes. What the fuck?
Okay. Come to the fountain. You don't have a gun, so just run fast.
I have the gang's gun.
So you're trying to pressure him to go along with you, right? Like you've got a
cousin,
that you want him to do, right? So that's when you pressure someone to go along with you. Roll with hustle. On a hit, they see your point. They have to go along with you or mark stress. On a 7, you're both caught up in it. You mark stress no matter their choice.
Man, stupid cousin. Hate this guy.
Is Flacco actually skinny, or is it like ironic? Like, is he actually like a big dude, or is he like a skinny dude?
I think he's skinny.
Oh, he's skinny. So he's real thin, right? Like he's kind of like
He's gone me like bug eyes. He's not nearly as handsome as me.
No. You're the good-looking one.
I am not doing well. Okay, this hustle I do have a +1, so it's a 7.
Great. So on a 7 and 9, it's kind of like you go back and forth a couple of times, and you have to mark stress because he's fucking pissing you off, right? So he's like, when you text him like you should come here, he texts back, no, I'll just stay. Like I'm fine here. So what do you text back that kind of really puts the pressure on him?
You got 5 minutes and then we're leaving.
Great, cool, good. So he texts back fine. So you have to mark a stress. He agrees with you. Yeah, he agrees with you and kind of heads your direction. Okay, cool. So now, Jen, you said you hit 5. You hit your 5th XP?
I did.
You did? Okay, great. So you get to mark an advancement. So go ahead.
I picked +1 savagery because that seemed apt.
That seemed apt for what just occurred to you. Awesome.
Exactly.
Great. So let's we have time for another scene or two before we're gonna call it for the day. So obviously, like people kind of like disperse. You get over to her car. You assume you head home, back to the narco complex. Santiago, is that probably where you go?
Yeah, I go back there, and on the way, I'm calling all of my contacts, my informants at the major checkpoints in Smuggling Road to my plaza, and everyone is going to report.
Yeah,
everyone needs to report it.
Great. So you're kind of like on the phone, like doing your thing, et cetera, et cetera. Awesome, good. Diego, where do you go?
Well, once Flacco shows up, we'll get the hell out of here. Like,
Yeah.
Santiago will call me if he needs me. This is not what I do.
Yeah.
Just
Totally.
bugging out, like
Totally.
other side of town.
Yeah. So do you just like head back? Do you have like a place you guys hang out? Like, is there some place you would go to as kind of like your default place?
Yeah. There's like a bar or
Sure.
maybe like a shooting gallery kind of thing. Like, I think we're gonna blow off some stress here. I'm freaked out.
Yeah, cool. So let's just cut right to you at the bar. So you guys have this dive bar you go to. People know where to find you there if they want to buy drugs, right? Like that's like your place. Are you trying to lose yourself in a substance, or you walk in and you start like hitting the bottle?
Yeah.
Awesome, cool, good. So yeah, so you just sort of like line them up and put them down. So let's get right to you. Just like putting down the drink. So go ahead and read the stress move for. Lose yourself in a substance.
When you lose yourself in a substance, roll with grit. I'm not very good at losing myself in a substance. On a hit, you get what you need to clear your stress track. Ooh, you get the whole thing. That's awesome. 7 to 9, you get give a little to get a little. Make a drug move off the list.
So basically, every drug that you might do in the game has a series of moves that are attached to it. So for example, for alcohol, which is the substance you've chosen, they are make a scene, let slip something you shouldn't, or abandon an obligation. So if you hit a 7 to 9, you clear your stress track, but you got to do one of those things associated with the drug. Okay.
Dang. All right. Stupid Moko. Okay, grit is again flat, so let's go with the 2d6. Come on. That's a 7.
Awesome. So,
Man, Santiago, you should have loaded me up with a gun because I am as good at getting out of grit trouble. I'm just saying.
Not bad. So you got to make a drug move off the list.
All right, for alcohol, the alcohol moves are make a scene to let someone know what you think, let slip something you shouldn't to the worst person, abandon an obligation at an inappropriate time. I think we run short on time, so I'm sure you can fill in the blanks. I think I go off on Flacco. I get drunk and I just flip out on him.
Cool. So you're gonna make a scene, right? So it's gonna be bigger than just like degrading or yelling at this guy. What do you do to really like kind of let Flacco know that he's fucked up?
I think I announced the whole bar.
Oh, fuck yeah, that's awesome. Great. So like you're putting down the drinks, right? Like Flacco's like out doing something. Like he comes into the bar a little late, and like you stand up on a table. Like what do you say? Like what do you do to like
Hey, we're just getting here. We're getting drunk on Moko's stupid money, and he's about to be a bird patrol. But Flacco, that's normally your job. You do know the only reason that you're even with us is because you're my cousin. Like, really, you couldn't even hang out with the birds right.
right?
You haven't done anything right. We are in debt to here for the stupid boxing match that you swore you had a line on and we lost it. Everything that you do is wrong. You are the worst at this.
Great. So you sort of like maybe it's even like a toast to the bar, right? Like everyone in the bar is watching you at this point. Like every single person in the bar. There's like 20, 30 people in this bar. Stupid.
Just hold up my tequila. I salute you. It takes effort to be this awful.
Yeah, and like Flacco just looks totally like stunned that you made this big a scene, and like probably because you survived, right? Like your girl is here, right? Like there's like a whole bunch of people he knows here, and he kind of like you're not. It sounds like you're getting close to kind of shaming him, right? So I think ironically you're actually about to make that move as well, but it sounds to me like you kind of turn it around a little bit at the end, and you're like kind of like give him a little toast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I made a scene. right?
Totally
That scene-ish.
you're good. Yeah, you're good. You're good. Cool. So, yeah. So Santiago and Isabel, you're driving away, trying to like avoid any major streets in case the cops are looking for you, and you're making phone calls, Santiago. So who are some of the people you want to like? What are you looking to get out of these phone calls?
I want all of the people who would have, these guys had to come from somewhere. So they had to pass through one of our choke points. I want all the people who could have seen these guys to show up and be at my compound, and somebody's getting their ass kicked. Because someone didn't do their fucking job. And I want to find out who that is, and that person is going to be made a fucking example of, because I'm pretty stressed out right now.
Awesome, good. So, I think we'll cut right to you being at your place,
Mm-hmm.
and assume you have somebody you have like a private doctor or somebody who would take a look at you. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So you've like you have somebody looking you over, and as I mean, Felipe would usually be the guy that does this, but he's fucking dead. There's a woman named Maria Elena who has done some. She had done some sort of. She kind of coordinates some of the halcones who are like around, like watching things. So she kind of drags a lot of them, maybe 10, 12 guys, and 10, 12 women and men who their job is to watch things, and they're all sort of like waiting for you in your living room, which is quite nice, right? I mean, you have a very nice, fancy living room, and they're sort of waiting for you in a line. Now, Isabel, do you welcome her in, Santiago? Like, do you want Isabel to come inside and get looked at by the doctor? Or like, what do you two do?
I insist.
Yeah, I got 2 harms, so that would be awesome.
Okay, great. So, the doctor's kind of like looking at the both of you. He kind of like, you sort of shrug him off to look at these 12 halcones, right? And, the doctor's kind of like giving you the once over. Most of your injuries seem to be internal, like you're just sort of roughed up. And he's like got the little, checking your ears and like kind of watching the pencil move back and forth. So you're there. You see Santiago kind of like looking these guys up and down. And Santiago, what do you do?
So I'm gonna. So they're all lined up, and so I'm making a speech. Then I say, someone managed to come through into my plaza, well armed, rolling up inside my town, and shot up me and the rest of my gang. Now, one of you let one of those motherfuckers through, and I need to find out who that is. So, if you know who it was, or you want to say that no one passed through, you tell me right now.
Okay, cool. So there's a couple ways to do this, right? And you're gonna kind of channel off to different places in the fiction. The first one is you can make an offer, which means that you can actually just be like, I will pay you X number of thousands of dollars if you tell me something that you know, right? And that's a face move. It's basically you saying, I will pay this for that, right? Okay. Another thing that you can do is you can pressure someone to go along with you, meaning that you can kind of pressure them to give you the information. Now, the trick to that is it can't be getting the truth out of someone, which we'll get to in a minute. It needs to be pressuring them to do a thing, not to say a thing. Does that make sense? Like, you can't pressure somebody to get the truth because that's getting the truth out of someone. Pressuring someone means that if somebody has some evidence that they could turn over to you, then maybe
Can I also have had all these 12 people, like their aides, their like first and their like right hands are also there?
Yeah, sure. Totally. Yeah. I mean, they're like they've all come down with a couple of people, like the way that Diego showed up with Azul, right?
Okay.
Now,
so here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to make an offer. The offer I'm going to say is that one of these pendejos fucked up, and so of the like second in command guys, you get their position and a $10,000 bonus if you tell me which one of these motherfuckers let these guys through your checkpoint.
Great. Roll it. Roll plus face.
Really, it was such a good speech. There it is.
Great speech. There you go. Bam. Yeah. You have face plus 2, right? Yeah. No, you're face plus 1. Savagery plus 2.
Yeah. So it's 12.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So they have to choose. They can take the deal as it stands or mark stress to shut it down. So one of the second in commands, like short, kind of like not like kind of like pudgy, stout guy. Like he just kind of like lifts his hand up and points at the guy in front of him, and then he kind of like tries to put it down before anybody sees.
But he's the one. So I'm gonna do my stress move.
Okay.
I'm gonna dish out a beatdown. And I'm just going to bludgeon this person in front of everybody else.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to bludgeon them until either I can't do it anymore or they're just not good.
Until you're actually too tired to continue to kick them while they're on the ground.
Right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, good. So this guy, Kuro is his name, right? Like you just grab him by the head and like throw him into the table, that kind of thing, right? Good. So go ahead and read your dish out a beatdown stress move.
Okay, so when I dish out a beatdown, does someone roll with savagery? 10 plus, I assert my dominance, clear my stress track. 7 through 9, things get messy. Mark harm and clear one stress. On a miss, the violence gets out of hand in un manera fea, and you're stuck with the consequences, pendejo. Why do I suck at this game? All right, so 7. It's 7.
Yeah. So you're sort of like, you take him, you throw him into the table, right? Like he tries to he's like, no, it's not, I didn't, and like you just start like punching him, right? And like, you just sort of like it just keeps going. And Isabel, have you ever seen your uncle do this kind of thing before?
Nope.
Nope. So this is like totally new for you, right? Like he is a drug lord, but it is like shockingly apparent to you what kind of person he is.
It was all like, okay, he's a drug lord in theory, but like I've never been in a firefight before, and I've never seen him kick the shit out of another living human.
Yeah, right. And like
it's all theoretical before.
Right, it was totally theoretical before. This goes way beyond like just punching a dude in the face. Like he continues to hit him well after the guy has basically stopped moving. And in fact, he hits him so hard. Like when at one point you lift him up, his face is all bloody. There's blood all over the carpet, and you just like slam him so hard you actually break your hand. Like bam, right? And like you hear this like crunch, and like you just sort of like you don't cry out or anything. Like you're so fucking awful, right? You stand up, your hand is already swelling, and the doctor who's just smoking, right, in the old, kind of like square-faced Mexican dude, like puts his cigarette out and tells, one of your servants, he's like, Carlito, look at the ice. Everybody else doesn't move, doesn't say anything.
They know the drill.
Gordo, the little fat guy, steps up, and everybody just acts like this is totally normal. Yeah. Isabel, what do you do?
I think I'm just kind of speechless, although I'm probably I'm taking a step backwards, and please no one notice me, and I am going to try and leave because this is all a little too much.
Great. So you've taken 4 harm now, right, Santiago? All right, great. Your 4 harm isn't like, oh, you drop over dead. It's like you need serious medical attention now. Right, and the doctor, let's see, the doctor's name is, let's go with Mateo. Mateo's like, Don Santiago, please have a seat. Like, let me, you shouldn't exert yourself like this.
So I'm gonna allow myself to be sort of taken to some place where I can sit the fuck down.
Yeah, so he kind of sits you down. Carlito comes with a bag of ice, and Maria Elena, beautiful woman, she had long black hair. She kind of shuffles the other Hakones out the door, right? They're problem solved, right?
That's all they were needed for. They're done.
You're done. And Isabel, the body just sort of fucking sits there.
I think I'm leaving with all the other people. I'm just gonna get in my car and drive home because I can't handle this.
Great. So Santiago, you're sitting there in the chair, right? They've got the Carlito puts you kind of you're almost struck by a fugue state, right? You're just sort of exhausted. you see Isabel like getting up and like trying to walk out with the other with the halcones. What do you do? Do you let her go, or do you say something?
Actually, so I say, Isabel, you need to stay here tonight. It's probably not safe. I don't want you going back into town. You can take the guest house.
I have stuff I have to do at home. This is not cool. I'm not comfortable. It's really awkward. And like
Isabel,
I think it starts out with me trying to like come up with some excuse or something, and it basically ends with being like, you beat the bloody fuck out of this dude and enjoyed it, and I can't handle that.
Great, cool. Are you gonna pressure her to stay? Like, are you gonna push this?
You know what? I'm gonna verbally abuse her. I'm gonna shame her.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is the life that you've chosen. This is the consequences of the things that you do. People have to make sure that stuff is taken care of, that there are responsibilities that people have, and you need to know what happens to the product that you make and what is required to make sure that this stuff gives you the kind of life that you're looking for. And if you're not comfortable with that, then you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. But you are. And so you need to stay here because it's not fucking safe right now where you're going. I don't want to hear anything coming back from you. Get out of my sight.
Okay, two things here. One, so that's totally shaming her. But remember that shaming her won't make her do anything. It's just
I don't care anymore.
Okay, cool.
I'm just losing my shit.
Great, cool. If you pressure her, then you're gonna make her make a choice about whether she wants to stay or not.
She still gets to make that choice.
Cool, that's fine. Yeah, but if you pressure her, then she has to mark stress to avoid it. Right?
Well, I want to get rid of my stress.
Cool. So that's the point. You're not doing it productively. It's just like a bunch of shit. Like what are you, a fucking child? What do you think we do here? Do you think we just make heroin and sell it at the local pharmacy? Right? Is this whole just tearing her down as a human?
I don't run a trucking business.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Do you think we deliver fucking flowers? Right. Exactly. All right. Go ahead and give me the roll.
So I'm shaming her is going to be plus face. So 7.
Okay, so you can interfere, Isabel, right?
I can't. I'm at 4 stress.
Oh.
Which means I have to make a stress move because this would have me mark stress.
That's right, you will. Okay, so you.
You just be awful to each other back and forth.
First of all, 7 means you clear 1 stress, right? You clear that 1 stress. And Isabel, you just like it really hits you. Like you have kind of a little naive about what you do.
Yeah, a little, obviously.
Great, cool. So you don't have to make a stress move in this scene as long as the first thing you do in the next scene is make that stress move.
Okay, cool.
That might be how we end. What do you want to do? Like,
I'm gonna go home and use some of my heroin because fuck this day so hard.
Awesome, good, cool. So I think like we leave El Narco, Diego's at the bar, right? And we just like the sort of closing scene here is like you get home, there's that block of fucking heroin sitting on your coffee table. You're not even sure how to move it, and like you just sort of like do it up. Is this the first time you've done it, or is this?
No.
Do you do this often? You've done this before, right?
Not like super often because I don't often have extras, but I have extras, so.
Extra, yeah. So you get out all the stuff. Yeah, go ahead and make the move. You're gonna lose yourself in heroin.
All right. Dice, don't fail me now. 9.
9, great. So on a 9, you have to pick a drug move off the list. Why don't you read the 3 for heroin?
Push someone who cares about you away unexpectedly, withdraw from a long-standing hobby or obligation, or scrounge up some funds in preparation for your next fix. I mean, obviously, this is push someone who cares about you unexpectedly, because obviously, my brother, whose name is Miguel, just comes in now, and I just
maybe the last shot is he's like knocking on your door.
Oh God!
He's like, hey, Lamana, are you okay? What's going on in there? And this will be like the last thing for the episode, right? Like, what is it that you say to him that's kind of like this?
I think I just start yelling at him, like you don't have any fucking clue how this world works, and there's so much stuff that's going on. You don't even know. Whatever.
And you just sort of roll over in bed.
Yeah.
And that's it. Awesome. Cool. Okay. Okay, great, wonderful. That's our like episode for today. Thank you all. I want to do a quick round of just sort of like roses and thorns. What's one thing you really liked about the system? One thing that really grabbed you, and then one thing where there was some friction. So let's do all the roses, and then we'll do all the thorns. So, Rich, let's start with you. What was a rose for tonight's session? What was a thing you really liked?
I really like the stress moves. I think it's interesting. It creates some cool tension. And I like that it can be dealt with in multiple ways, and they all have different kinds of follow-throughs. So that was a pretty neat little bit, and how it led to the drug moves. I like that cycle.
That's cool. Yeah, this is the first time I've seen in a 2-hour session 3 stress moves go off. So you guys were pushing it hard. That's awesome. Jen, what was a plus for you? What was a rose?
So this is not my first time playing Cartel. So it's just reliably you get into trouble and it's like awful for you, but also super fun and punchy. So
cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Never boring. Never boring.
That's awesome. Good. And Brian, how about you? What was a rose?
It's not going to sound like a rose, but it is. I think like the way the stress moves make your like horrible person really come out, like. And it makes you play up that you can't be like the noble, like you can't be that guy. You have to. It forces you to be these kind of like desperate and kind of shitty people, and that comes out really well with those stress moves. And I really like that it doesn't let me be comfortable in what I want. And I like games that push you into something that's kind of uncomfortable, and doing things like verbally abusing and shaming or just beating the shit out of someone for no other reason, like, is fucking awful.
Yeah, well, the beating the shit out of somebody is really interesting, right? Because you wouldn't like if I did that in a game normally, I would feel like, what am I saying to the other players? But because it's an established mechanic, you're like, no, I'm engaging the system. I'm not just Brian who's a jerk. I'm actually like doing this thing. We all agree it's going to have this effect, right?
Right.
It works out. Cool, good. Points of friction. So, Rich, where was there still some friction in the system? Where are you still kind of feeling like they need some work and some thought?
Not a lot here. I really think this is pretty complete. In the drug moves, it talks about a unit of drugs being something you could get for 25,000, but I just don't buy that for alcohol that I'm making a drug move on. So that was just kind of weird.
Yeah, there's a weird thing. So for the unit for alcohol, it actually says more than you can drink. But like the alcohol is very different than the others, and I think there's some weirdness around like lumping it in with the others. However, there's something really good about using it in the way you used it, and I've seen other players use it, which is like people go get drunk when they're stressed out, right? And they do this sort of stupid, hurtful shit like you did. So yeah, I think there's got to be some way to bring those together.
Luckily, you won't come back on me, so that's
yeah. Flacco's not about to sell you out to Los Aztecas, right? Like that would never happen.
No.
Jen, do you have a place of friction? Any thoughts on where there's still some difficulty?
Like I didn't get to actually like do any of the drug cooking, right? Like I did it in the beginning, and I was good at it, so I got an extra, and then I never saw it again.
Yeah.
And I know it's a 2-hour session, and I was, don't get me wrong, I was very engaged and entertained in the firefights and the car accident and the beating, but I didn't feel like I got to do my thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a real problem around the cook. Like, how do you make cooking drugs interesting?
Yeah.
Right? It's a real challenge. I think I'm still thinking a lot about. One change was from the last time you played it in, most recently, I changed the cooking move to a start of session move, so that no matter what, you get to do it once. Like, you get to do that thing one time.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, it definitely has been a problem. Same thing with, like, I haven't seen people actually try to do a lot of jury rigging stuff with chemicals, because where are you going to find chemicals in the middle of this market? Like, you have to be in a particular place at a particular time.
I thought about it, and I was like, well, I'm trying to like not be dragged into this car. There's not going to be a bunch of convenient chemicals.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, good. Brian, how about you? Where's there some friction for you here?
And it just might be my bad rolling, but I feel like or maybe that's part of it. But I feel like I could never get a handle on like my stress or because I'd lose one and then gain one like immediately back, And I mean, maybe that's just the hazards of the business, I guess.
You really struggled to make a stress move that cleared your whole track. Right? Like you're like every time you're like, I clear one.
I did
one.
3. I did 3 stress moves.
Yeah, that's rough. It's rough. Yeah, I think that I'll have to think about that. But like, it was interesting to me that you have avoided like losing yourself in a substance, right? Like your character's not the kind of person that would do that.
Well,
right?
it would. I mean, not that it wouldn't. It wasn't appropriate because I didn't have that to do at the time. I had other things I needed to do. It felt like with the El Narco that like shaming someone and just giving the beat down were really like natural shitty things to do.
They're very solid. Cool. Good. Well, thank you. A rose for me for tonight was I really think that the moment at which you like drag that guy out of the line and like watching sort of Isabel's reaction to that, like where the violence of the system was made real, was amazing. Like that was great. I also really liked that you triggered a move via text, Rich, which is one of my goals for this game, is to like make cell phones a thing. So you totally pressured Flacco with text messages, which is a thing that happens all the time in the fiction, but is actually kind of tough to do in games like Urban Shadows, which almost everything in Urban Shadows is like face to face. But this is like where you can trigger 4 out of the 7 moves with text messages. Right, so there's lots of like back and forth over the phone. So it was great to see those 2 things kind of come to fruition. It's very cool. So thank you guys. Awesome. Well, for those of you who are watching, we'll include the playbooks and everything about the playbooks, the basic moves, all of that in the comments below. We'll get those up later, so you can check those out and follow along if you'd like. Otherwise, thank you all very much for watching, and keep an eye out for more Cartel stuff in the future.
Yay!
Bye.
Oh, and subscribe. Which way do I point, Jen? Is it this way?
It's down, actually.
Oh, it's down now? Oh, down.
No,
Down
it's
here.
down now. Yeah, they moved it. I went to watch one of our videos, and I was like, wait, what the hell? I did that thing, and now they moved it.
All right, down here. Down here, subscribe. Thanks.
Later.